Hello there and welcome to our Local for Leeds. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United. I'm George. Welcome along to the channel and Leeds fans. A little bit sombre, wasn't it, last night? I mean, obviously I'm doing this a day later, but the feeling of disappointment is still there from that absolutely dismal, disgraceful display in many ways from Leeds United yesterday at St Mary's as we went down 1-0 to Southampton. And it could have been more, Leeds fans, couldn't it really? I mean, to be honest with you, it could have been more, but Southampton didn't really threaten that much. They seemed to have a lot of the ball, but they didn't really create so many clear-cut opportunities where you think, actually, yeah, he should be scoring there. I mean, it was the goal came in the early minutes of the second half, and it had been coming, hadn't it, Leeds fans? It had been coming, and it just highlights the problems that we have now in strength in depth. We're missing Raff, we're missing Phillips, we're missing Bamford and Ayling and Firpo and Koch as well, so potentially you can go with 6 players, first team players missing, but it's more than that, isn't it, Leeds fans? It's like they've been playing in these games so far, in these 8 games, we've had them all in various different games, and we've looked lethargic as we did yesterday. So there's clearly something, larger wrong with the team. I know the strength in depth is not there. And you're asking players like Gelhardt, young lads, coming on, making his Premier League debut. He's carrying the team. You're asking him to carry the team at 1-0 down in an away game. He's the spearhead of the attack. And your sort of 30-year-old, 30 million record signing has had another stinker of a game, barely touched the ball, and he's the one that should be carrying us. Because yesterday you talk about 6 players, out, Bamford and Rafinha in particular, Phillips as well. It's massive. We miss them, but so far this season you can't say that we have looked solid in many games, even when these guys are playing. And we've looked dangerous in a lot of these games, even when these guys are playing. And if we have, we've been missing chances left, right and centre. So, where does this end? And the buck stops with Bielsa. The buck stops with Bielsa. We've played 8 games now, we've won 1. And we sit directly above the relegation zone. As I'm recording this, Newcastle are losing. So it doesn't look like, we're going to slip into there today. But look, it's really worrying now. We're going into the 9th game of the season. We've only won 1. At what stage do we start to think, actually, Bielsa is such a legend, but the playing, the style is going stale, and the likes of Roberts and Rodrigo, he's having such loyalty in, and where is that founded on? Because both of those guys, I don't know, Rodrigo, what did he score? 5 goals maybe last season. Roberts scored 1. In his whole Leeds career, I think he's got 8 goals. And without these players such as Bamford and the likes, we're relying on this kind of player as Roberts and Rodrigo's to carry us into wins. I mean, we never looked like scoring. We could have been playing right now. Up until right now, we wouldn't have scored. It was a disgrace yesterday, and to all them fans that went, absolute disgrace. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. And the likes of Dan James, you see today, no care in the world. Going off to watch the NBA, the basketball or whatever he was doing. Looks like in the back of a limousine or something. There's no hurting for players. There's no hurting. They don't hurt. They'll pick up a wage at the end of the week. Whatever. Not them fans who have gone all the way down to Southampton. They're hurting at the end of that game because they've seen absolutely nothing from Leeds United once again. And you have our star man sat on the stands above the bench. Why is he there if he's not going to play any part? Why drag him all the way, rushing back from Brazil? to just sit and watch that shower of absolute disgrace. It was an absolute disgrace the way they performed yesterday, and each and every one of them, how can they call themselves Premier League players? I was actually very impressed with Southampton, the way they kind of suffocated Leeds. They didn't give us a chance to really get out, even if we wanted to. There was only one or two occasions where Harrison, and to be fair, I've just slated James, but he did look like one of the ones that was actually trying to give it a go. He had that in the second half where he robs Salisu of the ball, and he's unlucky. He obviously goes miles wide, but the issue is with strength in depth. You're asking young lads like Gelhardt, Premier League debut, congratulations to him, but you're asking him to lead the team, to lead the line and lead the attack, be the focal point and the spearhead of the attack, and try and get us back into the game. The same with Somerville, and it's these resources that Bielsa is having to deal with because we've got nothing else. And that all stems, though, I feel, from Bielsa himself in sort of saying, right, we're okay for this position, and obviously the chairman as well. The likes of the CDM role, Phillips is out, Phillips gets injured, Phillips gets suspended. We're asking on Forshaw, we're asking Pascal Strauk, who had an absolutely shocking game yesterday, to fill in. Neither of them are very competent, really, in that area of the pitch. And Forshaw, obviously question marks whether he's even, good enough to play Premier League football at the moment. I don't think he is. So you're asking a lot of these subpar players and these young players, and that, unfortunately, Leeds fans, is what we are having to deal with when the star line up, the Rafinhas, KPs, Bamfords, Aylings. When those lads are out, this is what we're left with, and that's what's so worrying. And Bielsa is putting his faith, too much faith in my opinion, in these subpar players. Roberts, Rodrigo, we've had enough of these sort of players now, Bielsa. It's time to change it. But who with? And then who with? The squad is paper thin. It's not good enough. And Bielsa is far too loyal to this team and to their formation of 4-1-4-1 and putting, square pegs in round holes. Is it the expression? That's exactly what he does. There is no strength in depth. You look at Southampton, who were very, very impressive yesterday, I must admit, as bad as we were. They suffocated us and they got straight on our cases, and they really, really deserved that 1-0 win. It probably could have been one more, maybe 2-0. I think 1-0 probably flattered us the way we actually went on and played. But you just think, Southampton, they've got the likes of Walcott and things sat on the bench. I mean, you can say what you like about Theo Walcott and his goal-scoring record, which is atrocious. But he's got that know-how. And where's the know-how in our team? Where's the know-how? You've got to applaud Bielsa by giving these young lads, Gelhardt, Somerville, look at the bench. It was an under-23s bench, as it has been for pretty much the majority of our stay in the Premier League, our season, last season, this season, on the bench. It's full of under-23 players, and you just got to think, come on now, Bielsa. Put a bit more into the squad. Have a bigger squad, because it's absolutely killing us. And at what point do we say enough is enough? And has he taken us as far as he can? Has he taken us as far as he can? Maybe he has. Because the likes of this team, the backup, that's your backup team. When all those lads are injured, that's your backup. It's just not good enough. And we are, I've said it in a few comments on YouTube channels last night, if it continues as it is, we are going to sleepwalk ourselves into relegation. And that's the way it goes. As much as Bielsa, obviously, I'm not disputing the legacy, the legend of Bielsa. He's an absolute legend. He's done so much to this club. But is it a time now to say, actually, it's going a bit stale? Do we change it now before it's too late? Because, all right, I'm slagging off Rodrigo, Roberts, who have been atrocious, absolutely atrocious. When they've played in the Premier League, really, 1 goal for Roberts is nowhere near good enough, and he plays so much, and he offers so little. But maybe a different formation, a new lease of life. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but maybe a new lease of life in the team, a new formation. It just brings the best out of these stale-looking players, because it was so poor. And like I say, they don't care, really. They're picking up their wage at the end of the week or whenever it is. The people that they need to apologise to and that are hurting so much by this defeat are the people that travelled so far to go and watch that shower play at Southampton yesterday. And what did they get for it? Absolutely nothing. Barely a shot on target. Barely a shot on target. It was a disgusting display. And where do we go from here? It's Wolves next week. What happens there? What happens if we lose this one? It'll come good. We'll get a result next time. And what if we don't? The same again. And he continues with these subpar and young players. And then what? Like I said, then we sleepwalk ourselves to relegation because we didn't act quick enough. For me, it's gone stale. And Bielsa needs to have a look at the tactics and just change it up and stop being so reliant and so loyal in these players like Roberts and Rodrigo. I'm sick of saying the names. But he's so loyal to this team. And it will become it will become our downfall, and it will become his downfall. And I feel sorry to say, obviously, that I feel it's the beginning of the end for Bielsa. But, a lot of people would say that's dramatic. But is it, when you've just watched our team play like that? I'm pinpointing Roberts and Rodrigo, but the whole lot of them. Pascal Strout can't play defensive midfield to save his life. But so why is he in there? Llorente looked a little bit off it, didn't he, yesterday? There was just nothing in that team, and you're asking so much of these young players on the bench. When do we start to flesh out the squad with, quality backup players, experienced Premier League players? There's many of them on the market. I mentioned Theo Walcott. They, Southampton, have, got him in reserve to bring on. He knows how to, get a game won. Who do we have in our team that can say that? Nobody really. It's such a young and experienced side, and Bielsa now is paying the price. And for me, if we don't get a result against Wolves, questions have to be started to ask about Bielsa, and just freshen up the team. I know there's so many injuries, and like I said, square pegs in round holes. Once these players start to come back, no doubt there's going to be a bit more cohesion and a bit more flair in the team. But even so, like I've said, we've had them for so many games this season, and they've all looked pretty subpar so far. There's obviously something going wrong behind the scenes, and the buck stops with Bielsa. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. It was disgusting and disgraceful performance yesterday. But having said that, I thought Southampton pressed us high. They didn't give us a minute to think about what we wanted to do, and they deserved it yesterday. I was very impressed with the likes of Brozier, with Redmond played well yesterday. I thought Livramento as well, that Chelsea connection with Brozier seemed to be working well for Southampton. But it's going to be a long, hard season, this, Leeds fans, isn't it? but can we pull something out back at Ellen Road on Saturday? Here's hoping we can. Here's hoping Bielsa can turn it round. But I'm just asking the question, is it time to start thinking about the future of Leeds United and start bringing in somebody who has the experience? You know, I'm not talking about coach-wise, I'm talking about playing staff-wise in January and flesh out the squad. But let's wait and see. But it's such a disappointing display yesterday, and it's now becoming very, very worrying is the word. It's not disastrous just yet, but the performances are worrying. And if that's because injuries and suspensions, international duties, they're going to happen throughout the season. And look at what we've got to call upon when this happens. You know, things need to be changed. But anyway, Leeds fans, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Did you go yesterday? How disappointed and how disappointing was it yesterday? Any Southampton fans, let me know your thoughts as well. You know, you played very well yesterday. Can you continue that now and rise and marching up the table? Let me know. But thanks a lot for bearing with me today. Thank you for watching, marching on together, and I will see you on the next one.